you can imagine just flicking out, whacking someone and bringing it back. In this video I'm going to be talking all about the White Octagonal Nunchaku that we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to be talking all about their features, what they're made from, who would use them, where you can go and train with these, and at the end I'm going to give you a few little tips and tricks just to get you started training with chucks. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been doing martial arts for the past 34 years and I've been the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 17 years. If you like this video, click the little icon at the side of the video, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos and updates on all of the products we have here at Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all about the White Octagonal Nunchaku that we have for sale at Enso. Now there's loads and loads of nunchucks out there on the market. There's an absolute ton of them. We have about 22 different types of nunchucks on and off depending on supply. At the moment we have got a pretty good spread of chucks in the shop, so it's nice to have all these different varieties, and there are so many different varieties of chucks. Like wooden tends to be the standard, but you get rubber ones, foam ones, metal ones, plastic ones, all types of different stuff out there. At Enso Martial Arts we do our best to try and stick with the more traditional style nunchucks. Like the plastic LED flashing ones is not really something we're particularly interested in here. So we do our best to stick to chucks that actually people are going to train with, are going to last, really nice and durable, and a really nice sort of pair of chucks that you can add to a collection, but still being very practical and durable. So this is definitely one of the chucks that fits that bill precisely. Very traditional, really nice pair of chucks, easy to train with, has all the features you want from a traditional pair of nunchucks, but they are slightly different from the norm. They're slightly out there. You don't see this pair that often. So what makes these chucks super traditional? What exactly am I talking about? Well, the rope really does help with a more traditional setting. The most common chucks these days are like the ball bearing style chucks, which are really fast. You know, there's very little resistance turning the chucks, so they spin really fast in the air. Now this is a relatively modern invention, you know, probably from the 70s and onwards. Before that, chucks or rice flowers would have been like held together with rope or even chain if people had chain, but it would have been tied on with a bit of string and then had a chain in between. So the amount of spinning and twisting would have been way less than say the more modern ball bearing style. Now what effect does this have to the user? Well, it does mean that it can be a bit slower, so it's a bit slower in the air, but you get way more control. So you are able to keep control over those chucks and sort of, after a while of practice, be able to sort of turn them in the air and have them exactly where you want them. So like the feel and precision is much higher with the rope type of chucks, whereas the speed and flashiness is a lot higher with the ball bearing chucks. Now just a little bit of background on nunchucks. Now it is considered like a farming weapon, peasant weapon, that's kind of what they're called, and they would use these all over Asia where they're planting rice, and they were used to sort of beat the husk off of the rice sort of seed effectively, and they beat piles and piles of husks, and then you get like the rice out of them. And you do actually see similar things in places where they grow wheat. You know, you get like these called threshers, like that you beat the husks with. So it's quite a common sort of farming tool that you'd get all over Asia. Now mainly they're known for in Japan, so like the Japanese kabudo, like the weapon styles, has picked these up training with them. So you know, you do get to see them in those sort of Japanese styles a little bit and Korean styles, but you do also see them popping up in Chinese styles as well. Now it's a really funny weapon the way it's placed itself in martial arts, because there's not really one particular style these days that uses nunchucks. If you wanted to go to a class and learn how to train with chucks, there's not really classes anymore. It's a very difficult like weapon to learn to train with, and you know, I'm not sure the reason for it. I guess like the way the syllabuses are formed within martial arts these days, and just chucks haven't really ever been like merged into those styles. Now if you did want to go and learn chucks and learn to train with them, the best bet is to just have a look through like online searches and do searches for like black belt academies. they tend to be the places where you can do chucks, and they've bolted it onto syllabus. The black belt academies are usually like former karate schools, taekwondo schools, kickboxing schools that have gone off and done their own thing. So it's one instructor that's now just teaching martial arts, and they do more often than not add in extra stuff that they've picked up along the way that doesn't necessarily conform to set syllabuses from their previous karate schools or taekwondo schools. So nunchucks do tend to get chucked into the mix with those. That is the most likely place if you wanted to learn from a teacher, like actually in the flesh. But these days, like YouTube and like Facebook and the internet, people are doing little classes, little instructional things on tricks with chucks, and that's probably the best place to try. Just having a look at some more of the features of the chucks. Now these, I've called them white octagonal chucks. Now this is actually white oak, so very, very durable wood that quite a lot of the weapons, you do get white oak bow staffs like these and bokken and all kinds of things. So yeah, really good durable wood, a little bit dearer than the standard red oak. So we do these in red oak as well, but it's a really nice looking wood, really nice and clean and white, and you do in a lot of them get a nice sort of subtle grain all the way through, so it's a really nice looking chuck. And also there's not that many white chucks out there, so they really do stand out in a collection, or if you've just got one pair, they stand out in a class. So not many people are going to have these, so if you've got loads in a class, you know exactly which ones are yours, and there's absolutely no chance of people nicking them. Now the way the rope is fixed through the chuck is it's just tied on through these grooves that are carved out inside the chuck. So more often than not, these rope sort of loops will wear out after a while. They do tend to sort of fray on the edges of the chucks, but it's dead easy because you can just unpick them, tie in a new pair, and then you're away again. And it's simply just a bit of nylon cord, but any cord will do as long as it's nice and durable. And then you've got chucks that will last you forever. So the cords will go if you're training a lot, but then you can just simply replace them and you can keep going. A big benefit of these chucks compared to the chain, because if the chain bearing goes, that's it, the chucks are ruined and you're gonna have to buy another pair. So it is a really good sort of financial choice to get the rope as well. The dimensions of these are pretty standard. They're 12 inches long. A foot, which is very, very standard for chucks, is pretty much the standard size for all nunchucks these days. You know, we've got a few at Enso that are a bit different, but 12 inch is the standard length for almost all chucks. And the diameter is around 3 centimeters, something like that. And also these octagonal grooves you get all the way around do give you a nice good grip, and it's like being 3 centimeters, it is a nice good grip for most people's hands. So like I said earlier, we do have a pretty wide range of chucks at Enso Martial Arts. So as well as the white octagonal chucks, we also have the red octagonal chucks, the lightweight rattan chucks, hard rubber chucks, the very pretty carved dragon nunchucks, 8-inch red oak chucks, and the super popular black telescopic chucks. So as promised at the beginning of the video, I thought I'd show you a few little tips and tricks just to get started training with chucks. Now this isn't anything fancy, it's only for the beginner if you haven't done anything before, and it's just a few things just to give you an idea of some things you can do. So the first thing I think is a nice thing to do is just get used to spinning it round by your side and catching it underneath your armpit. Now you can do this both sides, and you can catch it underneath and you can alternate. Now this just gets used to you spinning the thing around your head, letting go of it and catching it. So it just gets you used to feeling where it's swinging in the air. There's little chance of you whacking yourself apart from on your elbow, which you are inevitably going to do at some point. But yeah, that's a really nice thing just to get started with these chucks. Now one little trick I like to do is just flicking them out and catching them underneath your armpit. Now this is one of those tricks that if you eventually moved on to 2, you could do it with both arms, you could do it alternating, but it's a nice good one. And you know, a lot of the nunchuck tricks, there isn't a lot of practical sense in them. There's a lot of checks off the body, there's not a lot of things that make sense in terms of striking, but this is definitely one of them. And you can imagine just flicking out, whacking someone and bringing it back. Now wherever it kind of spun off when it hit your target, you'll be able to pull it back under your armpit and then flick it back out again. So it's a really nice martial technique to bring into your repertoire of nunchuck moves. Talking about checks off the body, an extension of catching under your armpit is simply swinging it round and bouncing it off your leg. Now make sure you hit the rope onto your thigh and not just the wood, because that's really going to hurt after a while. So swinging it under and back off your leg and coming back up. It's a really nice little simple thing to do and looks pretty fancy. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope you learned loads about the white octagonal nunchucks that we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. If you like this video, click the little icon, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos on all of the products here at Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much and I'll see you soon. Cheers!